Hi! So, at the end of this episode, we will have this kind of thing. We've turned it into a platformer of sorts, and we've added some coins that we can collect there, and a little updating score. But actually, the main reason why I'm putting this in is because I make a lot of mistakes in this episode, so please bear with me. There's a lot of starting and stopping. And this morning, editing this footage, I found the cause of all my problems. So at that point, I'll be sure to put in an annotation or note of what I did. And I'll give you a hint. This update inside of the player needs to go at the end. That's pretty much it. That would fix all the problems I had. So, yes, let's get it started. And go! Hello, and welcome to the next episode of my HaxeFlixel vlog thing / tutorial. In our last episode, we made this guy, or person, or square, I guess is the most accurate description, able to be moved around with the greatest of ease. So in this episode, we are going to add some collision. And not only that, we'll put some objects in there to collect. Let's get to it. So first, I think I might switch it up a little bit. We currently have a sort of top-down spaceship or something kind of control scheme. Let's change it to where it's more like a platformer. So we're going to first, let's make our ground. So here in the create of, the play state, let's add this new object, this new flick sprite, which will act as our floor. Let's make an object just to be cool, I guess. So we'll make a private variable. We'll call it floor, and it's a flick sprite. And let's add it below. We'll just put it here. So what do we need to do? Let's make the floor equals a new flick sprite. And let's see, we want it at the bottom. What's our resolution here? Take a look at the game class again. So the width is 400, the height is 240. So maybe we'll just put it down at 200 and make it like 50 tall, and then it'll be 400 wide. So it'll be what did I just say? So x will be 0, y will be what did I just say? Y will be 200. And when we make the we won't do that just yet. That'll be done when we make our graphic. So we're going to do floor, make graphic, and it's going to be as wide as our scene, which was 400, correct? Yep. And then we'll make it. We'll just do 50 tall, just to be safe. With 400, height 50, and our color. It's the ground. So let's insert a color here. Let's make it a green of some sort. Kind of a nice earthy green, maybe desaturated a little bit. Okay. And don't forget we need to add our alpha channel. I guess it's alpha channel. Here. I heard you could actually, set different opacities and get funky effects and stuff, but we won't worry about that just yet. So from there, I don't think we need to add anything else. And that should be it. Oh wait, no, that's not it. We need to add our floor. See? I still make that mistake. Okay. So let's just take a quick look at it. I think that all went smoothly, I hope. Just double check it. And here it is. Okay, so there's our ground. And we'll fall, and well, you see right now we don't quite collide with it. We can sink into the earth and down into the heart of the planet. So, yes. How do we collide with things? That is our question. Is the question. So, let's go down to our update function where all the magic happens. What we want to do is use the handy dandy FlixG. Does everything for us. And we want to collide. And then if you see, we have one object to group, another object to group, and then a callback function if we need it to do that, which we will later, but for now we don't really need that. So from what I've seen and what I'm told, your first object should, if you're colliding a player with a map, or I guess, you know, a map and some other object, you should put the map in the first section. So we're going to put our floor here. And then we're going to collide it with our player, like that, and finish it out. And that should be all we need to do. So let's test it again and see if we did that correctly, which I'm pretty sure I did. Don't mean to brag, but let's see. Alright. And bam. Okay. That was a little bit different from what I was expecting. I think we need to change something with our floor so that it doesn't get so easily pushed by our powerful square that we have. I believe inside of FlixSprite we need to change something. I think it's movable, so let's take a look at that. So if we do floor movable, immovable, okay. And I guess maybe that's a Boolean, so maybe true. And now let's try it. I think if you're familiar with other things, that's essentially making it, I believe, a static object. Alright, now let's try it again. So, bam, there we go. Now we're on terra firma, and we can't quite, you know, do what we did before. Alright, good. So our next step, if we want to make this more platformy, is to start, let's add some gravity. But actually, before we do that, let's make our player object a bit more object-oriented, as they say. So let's make a new class. So this is how you make a new class with Flash Develop. So we have our source code over here. If we right-click on the source folder, we're going to add a new class. And here we can put in some information, our package, which I don't really know if I don't think we need to worry about that now. But our new class will be called player. And our player is a FlixSprite. So we want to change what the base class is by clicking browse and just typing in FlixSprite. So it will extend the FlixSprite class, and then we hit OK, and now we have this new player class. Okay, so let's migrate some of our old code into this new one. So if you notice, now we have this new function. In states, when it's made, we put it inside the create, but for our other objects, we'll put it inside of new. So we can just copy this and that, and we'll keep this in here because we're going to be adding the player to the play state. So let's just cut that and paste it here like that. So now, since we're inside the player, we don't need to tell it to do it to the player. It just does it to itself. So we can remove that, make graphic, remove max velocity, drag. We'll keep the make graphic, and this actually will stay outside. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have copied that. So let's put that back in play state. Although we'll be editing that a little bit later. So first, usually, so the flick sprite. Oh, actually, this is very important. If you notice, maybe it's kind of hard to see, but this is kind of a light yellow color, but the flick sprite is pure white because it doesn't really know what a flick sprite is. So what we can do in Flash Develop, I believe it's Control-Shift-1 again. It will import the flick sprite class, and now it knows how to treat a flick sprite. This is very important. Don't forget this. That's another thing that I've forgotten many times in the past. So since it is a flick sprite, if we look, a flick sprite takes in an X and a Y of where it starts. So what we want to do is we want to take that same information and use it with our player class. So what we want to do is with this new, we want to take in an X and a Y. You don't have to name it this, but this is usually what I do, is I just call it in X, and then I believe that's an integer, and then in Y, integer. Whoops, it needs to be a capital I, or else it won't work. So, what do we do with this in X and in Y? So since it extends the flick sprite, we need to call the superclass. So if this is the class, the thing that's above it, that's kind of its parent, or I don't know, is the flick sprite. So how do we address all the information that is kept in the flick sprite for constructing it? We just do super, and then we'll just put in our in X and in Y. So it'll do everything that a flick sprite does when it's created. So it's made, it's getting a place, it's getting our graphic, we're setting our base kind of, physics stuff. And next, let's, so also we were controlling our character inside of the flick state, so we're also going to move this over our player movement into our player class. So what we're going to do is we need, the flick sprite has an update function in it, so we're going to override that. And once again, Flash Develop's very cool. We just have to type override and then up, and then there's update, and we just hit that, and then it finishes the rest for us. And if I remember correctly, maybe in the ActionScript version you didn't need the super update, but I think we still need that in the Hex version, so we'll keep that. So let's migrate our movement stuff. So the acceleration, the controls, and I think the rest can stay. Player. And I forget if it's best to put it before or after update, but maybe with this kind of simple thing it doesn't matter. Wait. It does matter. Inside of your update function, you need to put your super update at the end, and you won't have to deal with this hack that I inserted before. Just so you know. Alright, now back to our regularly scheduled program. So we'll just drop that in there and then edit it to address its, normal stuff. So we don't need to tell it to look for any player because this is itself. Okay, great. So I think that is the basics of it. Let's just do a quick test to make sure I didn't break anything. So we just need to make sure that our player, instead of being a new flick sprite, will be a new player. And then we're going to add player, and this should work exactly the same. Fingers crossed. Nope. Unidentified. So we need, what I was saying up here about it not knowing what a flick sprite was and having the import it, we need to do the same for FlixG. So Control-Shift-1. Oh, whoops. Did I just break something? Oh, no, it did automatically. Whew. All right, and then let's try that again. Okay, and look at that. It works just like before. Alright, so now let's add some gravity to it. Let's add a little bit of gravity to the situation. Sorry. Okay, anyways, so what is gravity? It's an acceleration. So this is an acceleration that's going to stay on all the time. So just right here in our our constructor here, we're going to set acceleration y equal to, and y is up and down. Let's set it to, let's see, negative is up, positive is down, so let's set it to, I don't know, let's try 50. I'm not sure if that's a good number or not. And before we were setting both x and the y to 0 each frame, but now we want to keep this y acceleration, so we're just going to set the x to 0 each frame. Okay. And also, we don't want to be able to move freely up and down anymore either. So let's remove both of these. So we can leave that in there. Maybe we'll use them for something later. And actually, yeah, we'll just let's just get rid of this. We don't need it because this is a little different from what we would want. So with what we have now, I should be pulled down to the ground and be able to move left and right. But with any good platformer, we want to be able to jump. So let's copy this, but we're going to change it a little bit. So maybe I should have actually let's keep up in this case. So we're going to keep the up, but we're not going to use down at all. But what we want to check is we don't want to be able to hold the jump button and then have your player just float up in the sky. So instead of any pressed, we want to use flicks keys any. And also what I just pushed was Control Space, and it will suggest other methods and stuff in this class. And what we want is any just pressed. So what this, gotta erase the end there. But what this will do is instead of constantly each frame running whatever is inside, when we push the key just on that frame, it's gonna run this code. And then just for the one frame, so we won't get any kind of overlapping physics things. So if we want to jump, we want to set our velocity. So let's say our velocity y will be equal to, let's say, negative, we'll just do negative 200. So that should give us an instant upward velocity of negative 200, and gravity will continue to do its work and bring us back down. So let's run it. Make sure I didn't break anything, which I probably did. Oh, well, it's looking good. I think we need more gravity. But there we go. We've landed on the ground. We can't go into the ground, but if we push up, what's going on here? Maybe I need more power. Negative 200. Yeah, that should be upward. Let me teach you a little something about debugging. So, although there are some debugging tools inside of the debug compile, here's a little useful thing called a trace. Oh wait, is it called trace? Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's still called trace in Hex. What this will do is it'll print a little bit of text so that we know that something is running. So just to make sure that we are actually still going through this, let's just have it say jump, and that'll tell us that this is running, but maybe this velocity isn't enough or something like that. So we'll start the build, and we fall to the ground. We can still move, and then if I push up, and yeah, I'm not seeing any reaction to that. That's strange. I wonder what the problem could be. Just a moment. Okay, I'm back. After doing a bit of searching and thinking about it, I found what the issue is. Some things have changed since I've last used HaxeFlixel and Flixel, and this is what it is. So, excuse me. So so we want to know if we are doing things correctly. So we can put a trace message in here called, and it says jump. So before they would just print these trace messages on the screen, but something very cool that I think they've added is so make sure that you are building in debug mode, and when you hit play and build it, there's a very cool feature. I think I might have shown it in a previous video. The like debug overlay. So we hit start, and then on your keyboard, if you hit your tilde key, which should be in the top left corner if you're on a I guess a US keyboard, or if you're in Japan like me, it'll be your at key, and it'll bring up this display showing your frame rates and all kinds of cool information. But we also have this first thing with the lines, which will bring up our log window. So in here, that's where our trace messages will pop up. So we can move left and right, and if we hit up, it is jumping. So when you're wanting to debug, you realize, oh, well, it is running the jump thing, so possibly we need more power in our jump. So let's just bump that up to, you know, where we're at it. Let's make a new, we'll call this jump power. Negative jump power. And then up here, let's add a, what are these called? Property? We'll add something like that. And we'll just make it private variable jump power. I think that's the way I typed it. Yes. And I guess we will make this an integer. Let's make it an integer, and let's make it equal to 800. So in this case, our jump power will jump with negative 800 velocity. So if we hit play again, or build, now we fall, and we can, okay, what am I doing wrong now? Okay, we are jumping. Jump power should be negative 800. What am I doing wrong? So Private var jump power, negative jump power. That is the same, isn't it? Copy, paste, yeah. Well, just to be sure, let's just make it negative 800 and see if it runs now. Ah, so many mistakes this time. Sorry, but maybe it's good. Sorry, just took a sip of a beverage. Okay. Huh. Actually, while I was away, I tested out what was going on, and just setting it as negative did the trick, but now it's not working. Why not? And we touch down, and there we go. So that last bit was just me being very, very, very stupid. Alright, so now that that's working, let's get on with the rest of what we were planning on doing, and let's increase gravity a bit. Let's make that 200 as well. Okay. Moving on. So we have our ground, our jump, our gravity. We have our player object. So let's move on. Let's make something to pick up, like a coin or something like that. So let's make a new class. Let's call it coin. Excuse me. Browse. If I just type sprite, I think it'll come up. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, we want our flick sprite here. And we'll make our new coin here. So, what will a coin do? Let's bring in flick sprite here. Our coin. Let's see. It will We'll take the in X and in Y. Don't forget to put them in here. So in X int, in Y int, and our coin will make graphic. And let's say, I don't know, what is it? If our character is 16 by 16, maybe our coin will be, let's see, 4 pixels wide, 8 pixels tall, and the color we will make, let's see, color, make it, our player is already kind of a light orange, so maybe we'll make it an even lighter yellowy kind of thing, like that. Okay. So, that should be our coin, I think. What else do we need to do? It has a graphic. It won't move much. Yeah, that should be good for now. So let's put a few coins around in our play state. So let's make a few coins. So let's make a for loop. And I think for loops in hex work like this. I think it's for. Let's see. Let me look this up real quick. Okay. Alright, yes. So for I in, and then let's say we're going to have 10 coins. So 0, 3 dots, and then let's just do 5 for now. Oops. So we're going to add a new coin at, let's see, let's put it X. We'll say one is at, let's say, I times 15. And our Y, let's put it down, what are we, 200, so let's put it at 150. So as we go through these different ones, the X is going to change by 15 pixels each time. So I think as it is, that should work. And put five coins down on the screen. Oh, nope. I needed another parenthesis here. Okay, yeah, there are coins. But as it currently stands, as it currently stands, nothing happens when we collide with them. But we can fix that. So, what we can do is, in our collision here, or in our update, we're going to collide the player with our objects. So, if you notice, we don't really know where these coins are. So, what we need to do is a way to identify where these coins are and someplace to reference them. So, let's make a private variable called coin group. Oops. And it will be a Flix group. Okay. So now, instead of adding it to this, Flix state, we're going to add it to our coin group. So coin group, and then it'll add, but we already have it there. So now it's going to be added to this coin group. And then, once we're done adding it to the coin group, we're going to add our coin group to this play state. So if we run it, it should look the same, unless I did something terribly wrong, which so far I've been doing lots of things terribly wrong. Oh, yep, it looks like I did something wrong. I think what my problem is I forgot to make coin group exist. So coin group equals new Flix group. Oh, forgot my parentheses. Very important. You gotta do things right when you're programming, or the computer just won't know what you're talking about. Alright, and there's our coins. And yes, so everything's looking just the same as it did before. So now what we want to do is inside here we want to do a collide, or not a collide, but an overlap. So Flix G overlap, and I think we're going to do coin group. Oops. Coin group and player. And while we're at it, we are going to what are we going to do? We need to make our coins do things when they're collided with. So what we're going to do is let's make a thing called coin collide. So coin collide, we're going to do Control-Shift-1 and make a private function. So this coin collide is going to take two things. It's going to be this coin group and the player. Wait a moment. How does it know which coin it's colliding with? I'll be right back yet again. Okay, I'm back. So I decided to take a look at the easy platformer code. So let's steal their code, because that's how programming works sometimes. So if you see here, they have their overlap, and they're overlapping their coins in their player, and they're running a callback called getCoin. So when we look at getCoin, it takes in the coin that collides. So I guess when it collides with the group, it only really sends back the one object that's being collided with, and the other thing, the player in this case, is coming back. So what we will do here is let's copy that essentially. So we have our coin group, our player, and we're going to run, let's call it coin collect. Coin collect. Coin collect. And we have our coin. I'll just call it this coin just to be sure. And it's a Flix object. We have our player. We'll just call it this player. And we'll call it a Flix object. Or it is a Flix object. So when we collect the coin, this coin will be, let's just destroy it. We'll destroy the coin. And let's see what, see how that works. Okay, see if we did this correctly. Yes, and we're picking up coins. Can you believe it? I can barely believe it myself. I think I might tone down that jump a little bit while we're at it. Okay, but this is working. After so much work and trouble. Alright, so how about this? Let's add a score. Why not? So let's make a private variable score. That'll be an integer. And let's say score will be equal to 0. And let's make another private variable. We'll call this, it'll be a Flix text, so score text. It'll be a Flix text, like that. Okay. So our score text will equal a new Flix text. And we'll just put it at 0, 0. And let's see. And we'll just hard code our and the width will be 100. Let's just, this is not good practice, but we'll just hardcore our text. It'll be score, colon, space, and we're going to add our score. So partially hard-coded like that, which should be okay in this case. Okay, and then we'll close that out. And here's what we're going to do. And maybe this also isn't so great. Oh yeah, so when we do, when we collect a coin, we're going to say score plus plus, and then score text, I think text equals score colon plus score, like that. And yeah, let's bring our jump power down a little bit, by half. Hopefully that's not too low, and I'll have to do it twice just to get that going. All right, let's. Okay. Oh. Guess what I forgot to do? Forgot to add my score text. So let's get rid of this play state text, and we'll just put our score text in there. And build it again. Run it. Score says 0. I knew it. I'm like 1 pixel off. Oh god. Alright, so let's change our jump power to 150. I think my best skill is learning how to mess things up. Alright, so let's try this again. Alright, and 1 coin, 2 coins, 3, 4, 5 coins. We made it. I think this was maybe the hardest of them. It shouldn't have been this hard, and I really should have prepared a little bit better. But again, maybe these aren't tutorials, they are vlogs of me making a fool of myself and learning in the process. I still need to figure out what's up with this not being able to jump while colliding into this object. I don't think this will be a problem when we're using maps and Flix tile maps, but yeah, that was my list of goals. I'll just show you real quick. Make a colliding floor, add gravity jump. We're going to make it object-oriented programming, and then add the new objects and some text to see the update. But we got some other things, like where traces appear. What's up with not being able to jump while colliding? Maybe I'm doing gravity wrong. That's probably what it is. But, yeah. Whew. That's it for this episode. Hopefully the next one, which will be graphics and animation, will go much more smoothly. Much more smoothly. So, until next time, I will see you later.